Hi, Ethan.
Hi.
We're going to talk today about the piece that you and I performed in Ontario this year, part of Ryerson School of Performance, entitled The Other Half. So my first question for you is, what is the significance of the ukulele?
So the piece started out me just wanting to explore what it's like to perform, to dance on stage with an instrument, with live music, with an instrument in play. But more than that, I wanted to have a piece in which it's not just two dancers with live accompaniment, but rather that the instrument is incorporated into the piece itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the idea kind of came from, and then the ukulele I figured was a good portable instrument to dance with.
Yes.
And so the story kind of came after the fact that I chose this ukulele, and the ukulele itself was a gift from my girlfriend 4 Christmases ago, like something ridiculous, I don't remember when. It was one of the first gifts she got me, and along with that, she also bought me a songbook of ukulele songs, basically all of Jason Mraz's songs up to that point. So I figured it'd be a great tribute, I guess, to her and our relationship to perform this with the ukulele that she gave me, performing Jason Mraz songs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. And if we were to talk about how romance is created on stage, obviously, like, the relationship that you and I have is completely different from you and Austin, your girlfriend. So how would that transfer onto a stage setting and make it more readable for an audience?
Right. I think, first of all, I should mention that the point of the piece was not to mimic my relationship with Austin, but rather to kind of generalize, in the sense that it was about just sharing your life with someone, sharing experiences, and the joy you find in having someone else's company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the trick with what we did was not trying to make it that relationship, not trying to convey that relationship in itself, but rather, it wasn't in a literal sense where you were playing Austin,
right?
And so I think that's a tricky thing with conveying certain things like romance, or romantic tension, sexual tension, anything like that. When you're conveying it on stage, the hardest thing is to not try so hard at replicating that, but rather let it kind of come out naturally. I think in the way that we created the piece helped as well. When we first started off, I was just playing and you were dancing, and we were just kind of trying things out. And just seeing what kind of came about naturally.
Yeah.
And that would have been different for if I did this piece with someone else, right? Because there's a different relationship that happens. So that in itself, I think, helps with just whatever comes naturally in our relationship will be conveyed on stage.
And the stage was like in such an intimate setting. It was nice that the audience was right there almost.
Oh, totally. Because that's another thing too. Is like when we were on stage, we were just kind of having fun with it. To me personally, it felt like it was a little bit different every time. We found different moments to look at each other, to smile and things like that, and that's something that the audience does get with this intimate setting. That they might not necessarily get that on the bigger stage.
Totally. And, having to project our voices or wear microphones can change the way that things are brought out and from our vocal projection.
For sure.
So if we have live music incorporated in there, I know we had trouble a little bit passing the ukulele and making sure it didn't drop or anything, but did you find anything difficult about playing, dancing, and singing? Because I know you had to do a lot of that.
Yes, that is.
You had to be like our maestro.
It's basically as hard as it sounds, like, it's exactly as you said. I had to play, sing, and dance at the same time. And then oftentimes my strumming pattern was on a different rhythm that my feet were moving. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the trickiest part about it.
Hats off to you for that one.
Yeah.
There has to be like almost like a meld of three different, you know, skills that you've built on, and especially because you have your background with theater. Mm-hmm. Like if a person can be completely in tune with all three of them, I feel like magic was created.
Yes, which is the end goal. You know,
totally. Yeah, and hopefully we did that.
I'm hoping, you know.
Yeah, it creates a different ambience too. Like I felt with this piece versus other pieces that I was in, being on stage and having 1, 2, 3 things to do made it so much more like I was just there. I wasn't performing. I was just being a human on a stage.
Yeah.
Sharing with another human.
Yeah. I get that too, actually.
It kind of like broke the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah. No. It did feel less presentational. It was more just about showing people us, you know, as opposed to showing our art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. So I wanted to ask you just one last question. If you thought about if you could remount the piece in a different setting, maybe with different people.
I don't know, actually. That's not something I thought about.
Would it incorporate more instruments that more people were playing?
I think this was like the starting point in in something bigger. I think the whole idea of it, you know, incorporating instruments and live music into the piece, almost as if like they were props as opposed to just like, you know, live music. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that idea and I enjoyed playing with that with you. So I think that definitely can expand into something else. You know, maybe I bring a guitar in there, or maybe I bring in this piece itself. I don't think so. I think what was really nice about it was the fact that it was very simple and like we said before, that it just kind of showed us and it showed our relationship.
Cool.
And I don't think it necessarily needs to be remounted, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me.
No problem. Thank you.